guys, we have a very, very special guest tonight. I got to meet her in Costa Rica. She's incredible. And we also just got off of like the craziest call. It was amazing. It was fire. I'm so excited. All the tips that she was giving us is just so incredible. So if we do this every other week, you guys, we have VIP leaders, we have like a 15-minute session with VIP leaders and you get to earn them. So every other week, you guys are able to earn these. And I highly suggest that you get your booties on them because they are just so incredible. So anyways, Katie, I'm going to bring it over to you. I want to know your story, all things, go into it deep. I want to know everything for the last 5 years that you've been in the business.
Okay, so you guys, I am Katie Bevington. I'm Ambassador Diamond, and I got started in this 5 years ago, April 2nd, 2015, and that was seriously probably the scariest day of my life. But I got pregnant when I was 18. I'm a teen mom. I literally graduated high school, turned 18, and peed on a stick, and I was pregnant. And so I was terrified. I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to survive that. If you knew me before I had kids, I pretty much never even thought I would have a family. I wanted to be just on my own, Grey's Anatomy. I wanted to be a doctor, all that kind of cool stuff. And then, but I love Zach. I loved him. That's my husband. We've been together for since I was 16. So we've been together forever. And I just knew that we were, I loved him, but we were kind of just being in college, doing our thing, right? And I found out I was pregnant, and then it just wrecked my whole world at the time. And then I decided that I was you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do. I was living in fear. I had my daughter, and then I was oh my God, this is the one thing that I never knew that I wanted. And I, at that point, became obsessed with being a mom, and I never wanted to leave my daughter, and I just wanted to be a mom. And so, unfortunately, because I was 18, that is not really a reality. Zach was only, he was only 20 at the time. And so we were struggling really bad to pay the bills. And we moved out. We started trying to do everything, do the adult thing. And it was just really, really, really tough. Zach was working 1 million hours a week. I was a full-time nursing student. I was pulling extra CNA shifts just to try to pay the bills. And it still wasn't working with gas. We couldn't pay for gas. We couldn't pay for groceries. And it's then I tried to extreme coupon. And I'm just, at that point in my life, I was literally thinking how do people do this? How does anybody live like this? And all of a sudden I'm all these years I grew up thinking it was just so easy and everybody just got going to college, got jobs, and just made money. And so it just wasn't working out like that. We were not able to do anything. And then one day, after so many hard days, right, I just found myself really upset and crying. If you know me, I think Zach, my husband, has literally seen me cry 3 times my whole life. I am not a crier. And I was literally crying because I'm dude, we're behind on bills again. And I hate going to school. I hate being a nurse. I don't want to do this. And I'm forcing myself to do this just to try to create a good life for my baby. And then, I never saw my husband. I'm this is not what I wanted. And then I just continued to pray about it. And I was begging God for something. And then I found it works. And it kept presenting itself to me. So the first time I actually was in the gym with my mom. And there was a table, and I saw the wrap, and I was Mom, I was these things sound really, really cool. They tone up your belly and stuff. I would really like that because, hello, now I'm 19, but now my stomach doesn't look like it did before I had a baby. And I would like it to look like that. And I was I wonder if they work, and it'd be so cool. So I entered the raffle. The girl messaged me one time, never messaged me again. And that was the last time I ever heard from her. So then it was 2 weeks later, I saw it on Facebook. And never saw that raise, by the way. Never, ever, ever. And so I was maybe this is it. And then week after week, we never got the raise. And then I saw it works again on Facebook. I entered a raffle in there. I was super annoying. I'm the person who entered every giveaway to try to win something for free. I won the free wrap. Okay. I tried it. It worked. It was amazing. The girl asked me if I would be a customer. And I said, no, girl, I have no money. I don't even have money to get my husband to work in the morning for gas, that kind of no money. And she was well, why don't you do this business with me? And then I was oh no, you don't know me. I am super shy. I don't have any friends. My entire family, friends, everybody pretty much ditched me when I found out I was pregnant. And so I was you don't understand. I can't even host one of those party things because I literally have my mom and my sister. That's it. And so she did not give up on me, man. She messaged me every single day for a week, talking to me, being my friend, supporting me. And she's I just feel you'd be so good at this. And I don't know what it was about her, what she said to me besides believing in me and telling me that I could do this and like just really like pouring life into me. But I said yes. Like I was like, fine, yes, I'll do it. And so I got started in it, and I didn't tell Zach because Zach would have told me it was a bad idea. And so I did it, and I started working it. And next thing you know, like, you know, I was terrified. It took me my first 30 days. I signed my 4th LC on my 30th day. Back then you needed 4, not 6. So I signed my 4th on my 30th day. And that was what gave me belief in myself, because the 4th person was a random person I met on Facebook, and I talked to her that day, and I just made the decision for myself. I was like, either I'm not gonna, because this product credit meant like the entire world to me. Like it was literally like a $15,000 bonus going into my bank account if I got this product credit. So I was like, I'm either gonna give up or I'm gonna get this product credit. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get this product credit. And so I did it. And I posted like a crazy woman, and I wrapped this girl, and like I wrapped her on the spot, and she bought as an LC. Like it was just nuts. Like I found her on Facebook. She was like, well, can I have it today? And I'm like, yeah, I have a wrap on hand. I wrapped her on hand. She was like, she tried it. She loved it. She bought the products, and boom, I had my 4th LC. So it was crazy, right? Well, then my next month in, I was like, all right, I got an LC that I didn't know. And then so I started taking that more seriously. I started working harder, and then I signed 2 distributors in my 2nd month. And you know what's crazy is my 2nd DT ever was Brittany Cromwell, my ambassador diamond. So it's so crazy to think back. I'm like, dude, she's literally been with me since my 2nd month. But I signed 2, 1 quit immediately, and then it was Brittany. And then my 3rd month in, I went Ruby. And right after that, I went Emerald. And then it was like 2 months. It was November, December. No, it was 3 months. And then January, I went to my first conference. And this is really, you guys, this is like the God moment, but it's the craziest thing. I went to conference even though I never understood why people said anything about conferences. Growing up, I never heard about conferences. I didn't know about motivational speakers. I didn't know any, like my parents never mentioned any of those things. And so when people were talking about the energy, the this, the that, and I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, I don't believe in voodoo. So I don't know what that is, but I'm not really about it. And anyways, I ended up going, and it changed my life, because in that moment, I was literally praying. Like, I loved It Works so much. I wanted to do It Works. It was just like all I wanted to do. I was still in nursing school, and I hated. And like, when I mean hated it, I mean literally like every day I would go to class, like I would cry on the way to school just because I was missing time with my daughter, and I hated it so much. It made me so unhappy. And so I went to conference. I almost got kicked out of nursing school for that. And then while I was in that conference, Ashley Sinclair stood on stage, and she literally said, she's like, you know, I don't know why this just hit me, and I feel like I need to say it, but somebody in this room has been praying for a sign to like do whatever they're doing or do It Works. And I want you to know that God told me today that you're supposed to be here in this moment and stay and do It Works. And he's going to do marvelous things through you and blah, blah, blah. And like all this whole speech. And I was just like bawling my eyes out again, like craziest moment. And I was like, fine, that's it. Like, I'm just going to go for It Works. I'm just going to do it. And like, what's the worst that can happen, right? And then I went diamond and double diamond back to back, earned $53,000 in bonuses in 2 months. And after that, like, it was just crazy. It picked up. And then a year later, I went triple diamond. And you guys, in this moment, triple diamond what was like one of my biggest, I wanted ambassador, to be honest, but my biggest goal, like my biggest thing that I could see was triple, because that meant that my husband wouldn't have to work anymore. And my husband literally worked 60 to 70-hour weeks pretty much all the way up until I went triple diamond. And he missed so much time with our first baby, and it just sucked so bad because his boss, like, there was times where we paid for a vacation, and when it came time to take off for that vacation, his boss said no, and Zach couldn't go. And so getting to triple diamond, we broke free from that. And then it was actually this day, 3 years ago, that I told him as an early Father's Day present that he could quit his job. And so I saw the video on Facebook today, and I was like, oh my God, it's so crazy. But yeah, it's been 3 years. He's been home full time. And then right after that, about a year and a half after triple diamond, this is an important part of my story because I got stuck at triple diamond. And so I got stuck at triple diamond because I told you that was my first goal. That was all I could see for myself. And I wanted ambassador, but I couldn't see ambassador. And so I got stuck at triple because I'm like, this is great income. This is more than I've ever made. 10,000 plus a month is great. And then I got to a point where I was really frustrated. I had my second daughter, and I really wanted to go presidential before I had my second daughter, and I didn't do it. And I was just mad at myself. I was mad at the world. I was like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to go anywhere? I don't know if I'm going to get any higher than this. Maybe I was only meant to be a triple diamond. And then God put me in my place. I started journaling, and I learned, oh my gosh, it's because I've been putting limits on myself and what I could do and what I thought I was capable of. And then I just started journaling it out and just letting God like handle my business and just speak life into me and show me what I was made of. And so after I started journaling, I realized like, hey, like this wasn't meant where I'm like, this isn't the end of the road for me. And so I started journaling about it, writing it out and talking to God and praying about it. And next thing you know, a massive explosion happened within my team. And I went from triple diamond, like, I mean, barely hanging on, all the way to presidential diamond within like 45 days. And with a newborn, because my daughter was born in July and I went presidential in August. So it was just boom, boom, boom. And then I decided I was tired of living in that house and I was tired of being in that state and I was ready to change my entire life. And so I picked my family up and decided we were going to go from Charlotte, North Carolina, and we were going to move somewhere else, somewhere new. And so for my birthday that next month in September, I was like, you know what, we're going to go ahead and go on a road trip and find where we're going to live. Funny thing is, we didn't really go on much of a road trip because our first destination was Savannah, Georgia, and we loved it here so much. We were like, you know what? Hey, I called a realtor. We started looking at houses while we were on that vacation, came back in 2 weeks and looked at 40 houses in one day and literally landed in my last house. Was my dream home, bought it, and moved. So we've been living in Savannah since January of 2019. I went ambassador in March of 2019. And, I truly believe that God led us here, and it was just, the journey has been insane. But since I just let go of that control of like always feeling like I have to be the one to determine everything, I started praying about it and like, God, lead me to where I needed to go. And ever since I did that, after just Emerald, going to that conference and praying about it, then getting told like, okay, it works, it's for you. And then it's like, all right, great. And then I just let everything happen. It was like time and time again, every time I try to take over control, nothing happens. But when I let go of my control and let God control my business explodes like no other. And so right after that, I went ambassador, and all the good things have happened since we've lived here. And I could go on and on about forever about how many signs that I've gotten and how many things that have been just so amazing and such a blessing since we've moved to Savannah. But really, this business has changed my entire life. Like, from going to feeling like I was absolutely worthless, like everybody talked bad about me. I got through all of those things to be led to it works because God knew I would not listen if I was doing my own thing before I found this. And, I'm just so thankful for the opportunity and just having my babies home with me, and we can be a full-time family, my husband not having to work, and having the freedom to design my life and say, you know what? I want to do a pool. Pool's been on my dream board. And today I got to write a check for a pool in cash and just say, you know what, I'm doing it. And saying, you know what, like, I want a safe car for my kids, so I get to go out and buy the safest vehicle. Saying I want to homeschool, I'm able to do that because nobody gets to determine where I'm going to be and when I get to do the things that I want to do for my family. So it's been a crazy ride, but I've been in for 5 years, and it's amazing.
Oh my gosh. There's so many people that are like lighting up the chats that they're crying and they're like, this is so inspiring. I have not ever heard your story. And so it really inspired me as well. And I loved what you said because I personally feel that God has been placing it on my heart for a very long time to let go of the control. And every single time that I have in my business, when we went back to back triple and prez, I had let go and gave it all to him, and look what happened in our business. And so I feel like there's different seasons, and you just talked about that. There's different seasons and different things that we always have to go to. So you guys, you might be a new distributor on this tonight. And the key points of her story that I just have to point out really, really quickly before I get into questions is that she found a way to start without making excuses. Okay, she did not. And I know that all of you that are on here have already started, but I want you to think of your potential distributors right now and think to yourself, who is out there right now that you need to be following up with every single day? Where's your Katie Bevington, right? Because are you following up with them every single day because she chose to start and didn't even tell her husband? You guys, there's people who want to do this business, but you have to be willing to keep following up with them every single day so that they will join your team. The other thing that I loved, because for me, I tell my new distributors this all the time. I didn't sign my first loyal customer for 3 weeks. Okay. You heard it from her that she did not sign her 4th customer until that 30th day. Okay. Some of y'all are so hard on yourself. I saw a couple of you in the earned Zoom that were like, I've only signed 8 or I've only signed 14 this month. And I'm like, you guys, no more onlys. Like, this is incredible. And if you are pushing and if you are learning every single day and working your business, then you are being successful in this. And don't be so hard on yourselves. Give yourself grace and know that everybody starts somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. And I'm talking about new distributors saying this, like new distributors. I've only signed 8 where I'm like, whoo, I remember the days where 4 was like, you're a boss if you can sign 4 in a month. Okay. Like, trust me, you guys are doing so amazing. So don't compare yourself, and look at her story over the last 5 years and look at where she started. I think you said 2 DTs in your second month. Like, look at where she started, you guys. She wasn't always an ambassador diamond. In fact, that wasn't even in her headspace when she joined. Like, I heard you, and I love this. I heard you say like triple diamond was it. Like, triple diamond in your head was like, my husband can come home. Like, what is that in your mind, you guys? I want you to write that down tonight. What is that in your mind? What is that rank for you that you think you're holding yourself back at almost, right? Like, if I could just get there, if I could just get to double. That double for me was more money than I'd ever seen in my entire life. Double for me was like more than my dad ever made as an electrician, right? That was like absolute nutso to me. I could not see past that. So for me, once I got there, guess what? I got stuck. I got stuck because that's all I could see. And then I really had to realize there's a lot more people here on my team that deserve double as well. So what am I doing sitting right here at double when all these girls deserve what I have and I'm afraid to go forward, right? Maybe that's you at diamond, or maybe that's you at ruby. Maybe you decided to join for $500 a month and you're like, I'm good to go. What about that girl that you just joined that needs $500 a month? You're going to, as when you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get even more of what you want, right? I think Zig Ziglar said that. I love that. Okay. So I have a couple questions for you. And I know you already said this, but I kind of want you to go into them a little bit more. So were there times where you doubted yourself or had anything go like horribly wrong in your business? And I want you to get like a little bit deep on this. I know that you said you journaled and you like gave your business to God, but like, what did that look like on a day-to-day when you were getting out of that? Like, what did you do to put your mind to that, to really like get yourself out of that frame of mind?
Okay, so the thing that sticks out the most to me, I had 2 big times. And so my first big time was triple to presidential. I was mad. Like I said, I got mad at myself. I don't know if any of you guys ever do that, like where you just like get straight up pissed off at your own self and you're like, I am mad at you. And you start like getting like salty because you're like, well, why are you even doing this? Like, you're not even signing anyone. And then you get mad at your team because you're mad at yourself and you're taking out on other people, trying to put the blame on other people. And so then anyway, so I had, right after I went triple diamond, it was like 3 months after I went triple, one of my diamonds quit. And I was like, what the French toast? She was a friend, and that made me even more mad. It was like even more personal because I'm like, why? Like, why are you giving up on yourself? Why are you giving up on, this business? And like, you're so good and like, you're a diamond. Like, why are you doing this? And so I got mad. And so it kind of made me retreat a little bit because I was a little bit like, then it's like that trust factor. Like, how can you just ditch me like that after we went diamond together? We worked so hard together, and then you just go away. And that kind of made me a little bit upset, and I had to work through that. And then I had, like I said, I had my second baby, and I had no idea what this even was at the time, didn't know it existed, but I had severe postpartum anxiety. I've never had anxiety in my life, but I had my second baby, and it was a living hell, like the worst thing I've ever experienced. It was a mix between postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression. I had my daughter on July 3rd, and I didn't realize what this was until I kind of like worked through like a million different doctors and did a lot. I had to start going to counseling and trying to figure out, hey, how can I get out of this? Because I feel awful. And this was also the time where I said, like, literally right after I decided that I went presidential. So I started seeing, and I'm one of these, I'm a very red leader, and I do not take excuses, and I'm like a no BS kind of a person. So when something's wrong with me and I wasn't feeling right, I will literally blow up anyone to figure out why I'm not feeling like right. And so after having, like, I was having probably like, I would say 5 to 7 panic attacks a day. I could not leave my house. It was the worst thing I have ever experienced. And so I had to start working through that and diving deep and figure out, how am I going to get out of this and build my business at the same time? The reason, or the way that I got out of that and decided that I was going to kind of like get to presidential, was, one, to never give up and never be ashamed of where you are and admitting where you are, realizing, hey, this is my reality right now. I've got to get myself together before I can take my business to another level. And so I started taking my mental health seriously. I started diving deep and figuring out, what am I not doing today that I did to get me to triple diamond? What was I not doing? Pretty much everything. I was not posting the same way that I was. I was forcibly posting, which forcing posts will never get you anybody. Like, no one's going to join your team. If you don't feel inspired to make a post, don't do it. Like, it's just a waste of your time. Nobody's going to read it anyways. Post when you feel inspired. That means also, it might be at an inconvenient time where, like, and I always tell my team, I have shower thoughts. Whenever you guys like are in the shower and you're just like, anybody ever have like really great ideas like happen to you in the shower and you're just like, this is so crazy. As soon as I jot it down on my phone and then I write up the post, or sometimes I write up the post while I'm in the shower. And so I just post it because it's something that came to me and I feel like it's like an epiphany that like I just needed to have, and I just post it and I get a ton of hits from it, even though I didn't spend forever writing it. I didn't force it. It just naturally happened. And so I write about it, which by the way, you guys, I forgot where I learned that, but honestly, like something, I feel like I forget where I heard it, but most of the time when you're in the shower, you're letting your brain catch up. And this is where most of your best thoughts are going to happen. There's like a whole bunch of science behind it that I don't fully remember, so I'm not going to try to repeat it. But I know that when you're in the shower, listen to those things because it's important. Anyways, so I started like getting all my thoughts together. I started getting everything. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to make this decision that I'm going to change. And so I decided I was going to start enrolling again, like doing what I needed to do to start enrolling. I'm a mass enroller every single month. But during the times where I was stuck, I wasn't doing that because I wasn't inspired and I was working out of like, I don't want to say desperation, but out of like habit, not out of inspiration, not out of doing what, because I want more for my family because I had that cap on myself. So I had to realize, hey, what do I want that's next? So getting out of my stuckness meant realizing where I was and saying, what's next for me? And it cannot just be money. I don't care who you are. I am the reddest of the reds. I don't have any, like I have zero yellow inside of me, okay? So when I say that like money motivates me, money motivates me. I love money. And so I do not get motivated by just hearing $50,000. Like I'm like, yeah, 50K is cool. But what does $50,000 do for me? That's what's even cooler. That builds me a pool. That lets me buy a new car. That lets me pay off debt. And what does that do for you? So if, let's just take the pool, for example, because I'm still on cloud like 5,000 over getting a pool, but saying, okay, so what does the pool do for me, right? That's going to allow me to make memories with my kids, my family. We're going to have so much fun, birthday parties. We're going to be able to, I'm going to take pictures and like just have all of the fun things with the pool. But why is that important to me? Because I want my kids to grow up and remember that mom did whatever it took to make sure they had the life like they could have only dreamed of. They kept having that special time with us, that quality time. And why is that important? Because I love my kids. So you have to dive so deep, not just that surface level. Why is diamond important to you? Why is ruby important to you? And dig deeper 4 times. Okay, so why do you want $500? Because that means you can pay your car payment on time. Why do you want to pay your car payment on time? Because you want to pay it off, because you want to be debt free. And that's going to allow you to start paying for vacations. Why is that important to you? Because then you're going to make memories with your family that they're always going to have, and your kids are going to be so grateful that you worked so hard that you're able to now do the things that you wanted to do. Take your kids to Disney, take your kids to Hawaii, wherever, travel the world, do things that only you can do through this business, but you've got to dig deep enough so you connect with it. And then once you connect with it, then you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm unstoppable. Like you cannot stop me no matter what happens. I don't care how many no's. I don't care if I have to cold message. I don't care if I have to do 4,000 hosted posts a day. I don't care if I have to go live and I'm so scared to do it because I really want this $500 a month to go Ruby so that I can do this, 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 and this. And then I'm just going to do it. And you're going to journal. You're going to wake up early. You're going to work out every day. You're going to do the self-development. You're going to talk to your team, train your team, and show up with passion and not retreat when one person says no, because you already are so connected to that reason that you have to do it this month, that you have to go Ruby or have to go Diamond or have to go whatever, that you're like literally nothing gets in your way. And that's the difference between when I was stuck and having all that crap happen to me at one time, and also remembering that do not fall victim to whatever you're going through. Like when I was going through all the things with anxiety and the depression and all that stuff, I'm like, I literally kept asking God, like, why? Why are you doing this to me? Like, you already know I'm in a bad spot. Why throw this on top of me? Now I have a newborn. I'm a new mom of 2, which by the way, going from one kid to 2 kids, sorry, Rochelle, it's crazy. And it's a whole nother level, but you know, it really is like a learning experience. It's so much harder than just one kid. And then you're like, okay, now I have this stuff on top of it and business and being a wife and everything else going on. How am I going to handle all this? Instead of saying, God, why are you doing this to me? He was teaching me, one, now what's crazy is that I have helped so many people overcome their anxiety and their depression just from going through that. Teaching them, hey, I had the resources to be able to afford the things that I needed to be able to help myself heal from that and grow from that. I could afford going to, you know, seeing a counselor and doing those things. And now I have resources and I'm like, hey, I see that you're going through this. Like, I'm going to give you some of the tips. And it's been able to help so many women be able to find themselves again find simple solutions to make themselves feel like them again, and find themselves, hey, you're stuck in business. Let's talk about why. Oh my gosh. And it's weird because it's the same thing that I went through. But if I didn't go through it, I couldn't coach all these people. So next time you're going through a trial and you're like, why am I here? Like, God, why are you throwing me into the pit and like putting a cage over top of it and drowning me here? It's because you're supposed to learn and grow from it. And what you don't know yet is that you're going to help thousands of people just because you went through it. You know how to conquer it. You know how to overcome that. And God's using you to teach other people how to get out of that. Same thing with your finances. You're in a bad spot. You're learning how to grow from that and coach other people how to get out of it. So anyways, that's the biggest thing. And I think the shorter and not so big of a story, but being stuck at my second time, I got stuck after I went ambassador because it's intimidating as heck to start your 2.0. And so I was scared because I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I do it? I have a huge ambassador team. Now I got to start over. And the hardest part about starting over in 2.0 is just that now I have to do this all over again with nobody to help me coach. Like I don't have leaders to say, hey, when I'm busy, go to her. So I am the other leader. And so now I have ambassador team and having a 2.0 team, and I had to learn how to manage that. And I was so afraid, and I got stuck, and I talked to Pam, and Pam said, Katie, why are you helicoptering every single person on your team? Why are you talking to every single person, like thinking you have to be constantly helping everybody at every single time and doing everything for them? She said, does somebody show up and ask you if you're okay every day? Does somebody show up and ask you to show up for your business? Does somebody come to you and say, hey, Katie, just checking in, making sure everything's okay. Do you need me to cover your Zoom? Hey, do you need this? No, nobody, I don't even have an upline. So there's that. Okay, I don't have my enroller quit. So I'm like, no, actually, I've done this on my own the whole time. And nobody comes to pat me on the back. Nobody's sending me, hey, girl, how just checking in. None of that. So they don't need that from me. What they need is me showing up and enrolling and leading from the front like I do. Because I fell back from I like to mass enroll. That's my jam. I love it. It's fun. I enjoy the thrill. I enjoy the chaos. I'm weird and I love it. And so that's where I'm good at. I know that's what I'm good at. I fall back when I feel like I'm looking around. What is everybody else doing? Well, maybe these 5 people aren't doing great because I didn't give them enough. No, they're not doing great because they choose to be lazy. That's why they're not doing great. People, and you guys want to know what's crazy? I enrolled, so in April, I enrolled like 90 something distributors total. So 60 during that time of chaos in the last part of the week, like the promo week, and then the other 30 throughout the month, right? These people, I can tell you, I have more people that have ever earned their 6 like LCs, like boom, 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 and in a day. Like I'm talking in a day, not just like in a month, like in a day. And so I have more people who did that in that month than I ever have just enrolling 5 to 10 distributors a month. And I'm not, obviously, I have 90 new people. I'm busy. I'm not up their butt. Hey, are you ready for the next step? They find the next step. And if they have a question, they find me. And they will blow me up with no, like not feeling any sorts of bad about it. Katie, I need help. If I don't answer, they call me. And I answer the phone. We fix the problem. And they keep going. They're running because they want to run. And I'm not having to wait on them and say, hey, where you at? Some of the leaders that I had to leave in the dust and take Pam's advice and say, Katie, they don't care. And some people are never going to go to that next level with you. And you got to be okay with that. And I'm like, oh, like it sucks sometimes because as a leader, you're like, oh my God, but I love you. And like, I don't want to leave you back. But like, here I go flying in my own little new place, taking my 2.0 to ambassador. And that was the hardest thing I had to learn. But once I let that go, all the people started flowing in. I started getting runners, people that are just doing so bomb, like boxing themselves for Ruby within a week, like crazy, crazy things. But if I wouldn't have let go of the people that I felt bad for leaving behind because they weren't rising to the occasion, then I wouldn't be able to experience the new things coming my way. So 2 of my hardest times, all laid out for you.
Thank you so much. I feel like you're speaking directly to me. Like we're just on a Zoom together. It's so funny because actually we just had a mastermind the other day and Pam and I had this exact same conversation. And one of the biggest takeaways that I had, and I know most of my team has heard this, but I'm going to say it again anyway, because it's so good, is that when you, and this wasn't what Pam said, I'll get to that. But my point is when you have, Okay, never mind. Let me just tell you what Pam said. So she had this vision once, okay? She had this vision. She was walking on the beach and she had one person that was standing in front of her right at the edge of the water. And she said that all of a sudden there was like multiple people lining up behind that one person in a pyramid form, okay? This is very important. In like a pyramid form, and it just kept going out and out and out and out and out. And she heard God say, let them in. Let them in. All of the people that she was trying to save and like take with her and like ultimately basically blocking out all of these new people from coming in, just like all these new people that just entered Katie's business. Like she may have been not even knowingly blocking them out at one point. You know what I mean? And I know that I've done that. You guys, what you're doing, like what you did to get to where you are right now is not going to be the same to get to where you're going. And also the same people that got you where you are will not be the same people that take you to the next step. And that has been something that has been so freaking hard on me to understand. And that's why Pam and I had that conversation the other day. It needs to sink in. Let them in. Let in all of these people that are standing there ready and waiting to run with you. Like she just said, they're runners. They're runners. They're excited. They're sitting there waiting. And honestly, I'm the same way. Like I feel like when you mass enroll, you find the runners a lot faster because you can weed through the ones that are ready to go and the ones that don't take off, don't take off. But what I will say is there are double diamonds and higher on this team that have came in, quit, and then come back a year later and gone up and beyond because they weren't ready at that time, but then they're ready when they're ready. Okay. So that's not on you. Like she said, it's not on you if they don't take off. And I will say this until I'm blue in the face, but we've got a girl, Lisette, she's going diamond this month. And she literally shared on a Zoom call the other night that she enrolled 30 distributors before one ever signed one loyal customer. Like 30 distributors in her organization. She did all the same things before even one of them took off. Okay. She's been with me for like 2 years now, you guys. I keep saying this as a reminder for people to understand that it's going to look different. There's something that you have to learn. There's something that you have to grow through. And taking ownership of that is probably the first and hardest task of being in like in a rut or in whatever you want to call it, in like a hard place or whatever, is you looking around and going, okay, wait a second. There's something that I need to own so that I can fix this and get through it. And when you actually take ownership of it, it's so much more refreshing instead of making the excuses of like, how did I get here? Why are you doing this to me? What did this happen? You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait a second, what do I need to learn here? And I don't even remember who said it. So somebody can drop it in the chats, but it's another top leader. I think it's Amber Parker. Who do I need to become? Who do I need to become to be that ambassador? Who do I need to become to be that presidential, that triple, whatever it is? Who do I need to become? And be running after her every single day. One last thing, and then I have like one last question for you, and it'll be really fast. One last thing that I want to say, I was watching something on Ed Milet the other day, and he said that one thing that I love about him is that he always says this: when he gets to heaven, he wants to meet the man that like he's supposed to be, right? That God created him to be. And so he's constantly chasing that person so that he can meet him. And like, he wants to meet him and have that be his identical twin. He doesn't want to meet that person and be like, oh, that's who I could have been. Like, I don't even know this person. Like, who is this person right here? He wants to meet them and be identical twins with that person, or maybe even better. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's constantly in this crisis, is the word that he used. He's in a crisis to become a better version of himself. And that is the only way that you're going to get through that growth. Welcome problems with open arms, you guys. Problems are just time for growth. Problems just mean you've hit the next level. Like, let's go, bring it on, because that means you're about to level up. Okay. Okay. One last question, Katie. I don't want to keep you any later than 11 o'clock. So one last question. What would you tell a new distributor right now that's listening to this and thinking, man, this is all so great. All this information is so good, but like, how could I possibly be there where she's at in 5 years? Like, how, like somebody that's just doubting themselves, that's heard all this great information and they're taking it in, but they're like, how could I get there? Like, what would you say to them?
I would say just put one foot in front of the other. You're never going to see your, right away, I would have never even seen myself as an executive, ever. I never thought I would do that. But then once I signed a couple of distributors, I'm like, well, maybe. And the crazy thing is that I feel like you have to start doing that growth, and you need to understand that you are in charge of whatever it is that you want to do. And so if you decide, like I said, I signed 90 something people, and some people are doing great and they're so awesome and they're taking off, they're using all the information and finding all the things. So you be that person, go find all the things. Don't just wait on your enroller to answer you and tell you what's next. You go find what's next. Go look for it. YouTube, your team page, and go to other leaders. Do not be afraid to ask people for tips and advice. If they're doing better, if they're higher than you and they're just killing it, ask them. Most of the time, you guys, something that I love about this company is that the leaders are going to answer you and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what's working, and this is what the sauce is. And so you follow it, and you just follow the right people, do the right things, and show up even when you don't want to do it. Because the best thing about this business is that you don't have to be any color, any shape, any size, any way. You just need to have that work ethic and that grit. It's not talent, it's not looks, it's just the hard work. And so if you're willing to learn everything, you're willing to put in that work, you can be an Ambassador Diamond one day. No matter what amount of education you have, how many kids you have, what's going on in your life, you can be an Ambassador Diamond too. But you just have to make that decision and never give up. Because I always think back okay, what if I would have gave up when my first Ruby quit? Right after I went Emerald, what if I would have gave up when that person quit or slowed down? What if I would have followed their pace? Because it sucks, because again, I love these people. The people who went Emerald, when I was going Emerald, I still think back, I'm like, man, we had so much fun together. And then she quit. And I remember we used to talk about Ambassador Diamond together, and then she quit. And now she sees me, Ambassador Diamond. I did it. I'm the one who did it. We were besties, and I did it, and she didn't. And so she's she's like, dude, I wish I would have never stopped. And I'm like, I wish you wouldn't either, because we had so much fun. So remember what the end goal is. If you want to be ambassador one day, you just don't stop. No matter if that takes you 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you can get there. And I can promise you, when that $30,000 a month check hits your bank account, you're not going to care if it took you 5 years or 10 years. It's $30,000. You're not going to earn that working at your job right now unless you're, I don't know, a doctor or something. So if it takes you that long, it's worth it. If it takes you a little, not a long time, you surprise yourself, because you guys, I love when this happens, but when people on my team are like, I'm 5,000 away, I don't know if I'm going to hit my promotion, and it's a week from the end of the month, and they do it, they're like, bro, I did it. And I'm like, I know you can do these things. When you decide that you're just going to do it and you enroll 5,000 volume in 1 week and you make it happen, and you're like, wow, I didn't know if I was capable of that. You can never come to me and tell me that you're afraid to do something again, because I just watched you accomplish the impossible and set your mind into something and just do it. And so anything that you set your mind to, you're going to do, but you really do just have to make that decision and decide, I'm worth more, my family's worth more, I'm just going to do it no matter what happens, no matter what I have to do, how many times I have to follow up, how many hosts posts I have to do, how many live videos, how many posts, whatever. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that my family gets everything that they deserve, to do anything that God puts on my heart. And I will show up on the hard days when my kids are sick, when I'm tired, and when I'm overwhelmed. I do the things. So do the same thing, follow the right people, and don't give up. No matter what, no matter how hard it gets, do not ask for help, reach out. Rochelle's here. There's thousands of leaders in this company. Reach out, ask for help, and say, hey, I'm struggling. Don't be ashamed. We've all been there. Yes, all the top leaders, Joel and Stephanie Dunn included, number one, have all been through it. And they've all, if you ask Pam Souter how many leaders ask for help, she'll literally tell you every single one, because we all ask, please help me. I just need a little pep talk. And sometimes that's all you need. But seriously, just you're in the right place, the right company, the best company with the best people, the best products, and the best leadership. And so you just have to just make that decision for yourself.
Oh my gosh, you heard it, guys. She told you the secret sauce right there. Thank you so much, Katie. Seriously, this was I'm probably not even going to sleep tonight because I'm just so fired up and I'm still sweating. So thank you so much. It seriously was the best. And I just can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll see you guys.